Part 65, the Epistle to the Hebrews, Fornicators and Adulterers, God will judge. Introduction. In today's society, the honor and sanctity of marriage is under constant attack. Divorce is acceptable, made easy through no-fault laws. Adultery is considered normal, faithfulness to one's spouse as unrealistic. Among religious and political leaders, many say that standards against sexual immorality are antiquated. Even in the church, sexual immorality is a major problem, evidenced by the high number of divorces among Christians, the frequent reports of sexual failings among preachers, elders, and other Christians. This is not to say there are not those who still hold marriage in high esteem. Many people still believe sex is for marriage and marriage is for life. I've been blessed to have the example of my wife's grandparents, married 77 years, the example of my grandmother, widowed with 6 children when only 30 years old, remaining single for over 50 years, parents and in-laws who both were married over 50 years each. In truth, our culture today is not that much different from the society of the first century, where divorce and remarriage was rampant. Women were known to date events by their husbands. Example, yes, that happened during husband number 5. Fornication was acceptable, adultery barely frowned upon. But Christianity offers a true contrast of standards regarding morality. Through clear and unequivocal teaching, 1 Corinthians 6, verses 9 and 10, Galatians 5, verses 19 through 21, and Ephesians 5, verses 3 through 5. The same sort of teaching is needed today, which is why we need to carefully heed the text of today's lesson. Marriage is honorable among all, and the bed undefiled, but fornicators and adulterers God will judge. Hebrews 13, verse 4. The verb is not in the Greek, leading some to translate the first phrase as, "Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled." NASV. Marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure. NIV. Why should we honor marriage and keep the marriage bed, a euphemism for marital relations, pure? Because God will judge those who violate it. Definition of terms. Fornicators. The Greek word is pornos, from which we get pornography. It is a general word for unlawful and immoral sexual relationships. It includes any kind of sex outside of marriage, premarital, extramarital, adultery, homosexual, etc. Adulterers. The Greek word is moikos. It means to have unlawful intercourse with another's wife or husband. This may be while they are still married, or even after they are divorced, if not for the right reason. Matthew 5, verse 32, and 19, verse 9. So a person can be guilty of adultery either by having relations with another spouse, by marrying someone who either did not put their first spouse away for fornication, or was put away by their spouse for any reason. God, the Supreme Being, eternal and holy, Revelation 4, verse 8, omniscient and omnipresent, Psalms 139, verse 1 through 12, loving yet just, John 3, verse 16, Hebrews 10, verses 30 and 31, Hebrews 12, verse 29. Will judge. The Greek word is krino, the act of condemning and decreeing or inflicting penalty on one. Marriage should be held in honor because the Bible makes it clear that God will condemn and somehow inflict penalty on those who are fornicators and adulterers who do not repent. But why will God judge fornicators and adulterers? This concludes Part 65 of the book of Hebrews.